It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center. Starting a little early today because there's a really special bird I want to show you. So let me flip the camera and we'll go out here. There are actually two. It looks like a tricolored heron and or a little blue or a hybrid of the two. Now that one looks like it's moved behind the bushes. And that's a snowy egret that is also now going into the grasses. So that little body of water that we're looking at right there, there's the snowy egret now. Oh, there goes the tricolored or the little blue. And it's getting dive bombed by a northern harrier, which is going right past us. All right, I was watching the bird, so I'm not sure if you guys got to see that. But the tricolored, oh, there it is again. Now, we have a hybrid here. It's hard with the zoomed in here. Let's zoom back out again. We have a hybrid between a little blue, there it goes flying, and it spooked up a little, looks like another little, there's the garbage truck that had the raccoon in it earlier this morning. Okay, so this is a lot going on right here, right off the bat. That is a snowy egret. The one that flew away was either a little blue or a tricolored. And without my glasses, I'm having a hard time seeing that. Let me zoom back here so you can see how far away that is. I am in a bird blind out here at Meigs Point. It's the first time I've started a program from this blind, and I think I need to come back here more often because there was a lot of action just happened. So starting out, I saw the snowy egret, which has bright yellow feet and a black beak. Easy way to tell those. As I went live, because I wanted to go live before it took off, either the tricolor or little blue, or I think it's the hybrid, came walking out on the grasses there. When it flew up, a northern harrier swooped in over the marsh, this little area of marsh, and went over behind me. And then when the little blue tricolor hybrid took off and flew away, it spooked out some little sandpiper, which I didn't get a look at all. So a lot of action right there. The snowy is the reason I started live, but behind me in these bushes, now probably not going to be able to find them now, but there were warblers. I believe we had a female common yellowthroat, a couple of other warblers. There were a pair of catbirds and a blue jay. And with all the action going on the other side, I think they've all moved on. I'm going to listen for a second. I hear a little bird. It looks like it's deep in the bushes off to our right now. So a lot of action here. Now, here's a quick little thing to show you. Here at this bird blind, Monunkatuck Audubon has sponsored a chimney swift chimney. Okay, so this is to simulate a chimney, which is where chimney swifts like to nest. The chimney swift is the only bird in Connecticut that can fly down a chimney and then be able to fly out again. Other birds are either too large or they can't fly straight up that quickly, and they can't really use these chimneys. Now, we did have this little solar panel here that's up there. Used to play, and I'm not sure if it was hooked up this year, but would play a recording of chimney swifts to try and attract chimney swifts to this little fake chimney we have going here. And I don't know if we've had any chimney swifts use this yet, but it's pretty neat that this was designed to try and attract chimney swifts, which are a very rare bird in Connecticut now. When I was a kid, they were everywhere. I got to see them regularly. They nested under a bridge near my house, so it was pretty cool to see them all the time. All right, let's go back into the blind here and see. So the snowy has moved off because it seems like when I'm talking about one bird, the other bird takes off. You can see this is Phragmites here. All right. Now, The program for today was not intended to be about the bird blind. We were just going to start here, and it turned into all kinds of action happening out here. But what we're going to be doing, there's a little field around the corner here, which I have not walked you through yet. So I'm going to walk you through that field now. First, let's look at this woodland sunflower. Beautiful. This is the time they're blooming. When I got out of the truck, which is parked right around the corner, I could smell these. They're all along the parking lot in front of the truck. So you can really smell these here at Hammonasset right now. All right, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning and ask you to please put up where you're messaging from if you have any questions or comments. I want to give a shout out to Christine Cohen, our state senator, for the program yesterday. It was fantastic to be able to talk about environmental issues and what the legislature is doing about them and what you can do to support that. Here we've got a female red cedar juniper tree, and these little berries here, this is what they make gin out of. And if you've ever taken one of these berries when they're nice and fresh like this and crushed them up, and if you go to my red cedar juniper program, which I did a whole program on it, I'll talk more about this, but you can crush it and smell it, and it smells just like gin. So, which I don't really like the smell of, so I don't know why I just smelled that. All right, let's go around the corner here. So again, this is off of the Meigs Point parking lot. You can see the parking lot. Nature Center is right over there. So you can come and visit this. And here we've got, I think this one's a seaside goldenrod. There are lots of species of goldenrod. Lots of them are blooming right now. So it's pretty cool. We're going to look at a few different species as we go. And we've got some, again, I have a hard time telling marsh elder and groundsel. So you guys can help me with that one. Here's a cool one. This one's in bloom now. This is smartweed. There are other names for it. But I've always just known it as smartweed. I always assumed that it was cut. Now, I knew this plant when I was a child, and I assumed the name meant that it was smart enough to grow where it's not going to get mowed or cut down. So, it's in the knotweed family. One of the names has to do with knotweed too. All right, as we move along here, you can see more goldenrods. We've got, a little spider web here, down here. So, this is a funnel web spider, and you can see down, I don't know if you can see down the tube, but right down there, there's a little tube, and that's where the spider is hanging out. And when something comes along its web, it comes out and grabs it and brings it down into the funnel. Hence the name funnel web. So that's pretty cool. We've got some more goldenrod here, and this is a different species than the other one. Let's see, that's not showy goldenrod. I'm not sure which one that is. This one might be showy goldenrod here. So there's 3 species that we've seen already. And, I didn't see this. Asters. I think this might be a New England aster, which is, maybe it's not big enough for a New England aster. One of my all-time favorite flowers are New England asters. They're beautiful purple color. The family of asters, I think, would be my favorite family of flowers. Ooh, and we've got a monarch. Awesome. Yesterday, after the program with the senator, there were over 100 monarchs. And there's another one right there. 100 monarchs in our butterfly garden. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to show you this guy here. I thought I saw a spot. Oh, it's so hard to tell when they're flying around. But again, you can tell the males have a spot on the wing, and the females do not have a spot. Oh, here's another one coming. Going to land right maybe in front of us. Maybe not. There's 2 of them there following each other. Thought they were going one direction. They turned around on me and went the other way. All right. So there it is. It landed again there. And that one looks like a female. I don't see it's fanning its wings there as it feeds. All right, we're going to leave those alone and move down the path here. All right. So again, if you look here, now this is a great example of what we do here at Hammonasset. This whole section that we're looking at right here was mowed. Up until around 2014, it was mowed regularly, and it looked like a field, just a mowed lawn. We stopped mowing it. I believe it will be mowed like every 7 years or something like that, just to keep it as a successional. However, now that we've got this, either the high tide bush or the groundsel, I don't know that we're going to mow it because this is a cool species. And this means that the tides are starting to reach this far up. So these usually grow right on the tide line. But it's pretty neat that we've recognized that this is a great habitat, let it go back to habitat. There wasn't any necessity to mowing it except to make it look more, it's called park-like. And a mockingbird just landed in that apple tree in front of me. Really cool. All right, I should take a second here and see if we have any questions. Any questions? Oh, my dad says he didn't know that there were male and female trees. There are actually several trees that have male and female. The most common one that people recognize is the holly. Oh, there's a warbler. Olivey yellow warbler, probably a female of some kind. They move so fast. All right, I love warblers. They're the hardest to identify. They're super tiny, very colorful. There's one on the ground right there. They flit around very quickly. Oh, it just sang. And another bird just flew over and went to the bathroom on my shoulder. So here, let's show you. All right, see that right there? That's bird poop. I just got pooped on. It's on my arm and everything. Yay. In some places that's considered lucky. I think it's only the people that get pooped on that say it's lucky, just so they don't feel so bad. All right, there's little warblers. Oh, there's lots of bird activity here right now. They're flitting around. They're really small. It's going to be hard for you guys to see them. I'm going to try and wipe some of this poop off on the grass because I don't want to walk around with it on my arm. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, let's see what else we have along here. Okay, so we've got these red berries right here. This is a rose, and this is a few names, Japanese rose or dog rose, I think they call it. But this is another one of those, typically a shoreline rose near water. Along with our beach rose, it's two of the invasive roses that we have here at Hammonasset. And the other common one is the multiflora rose, which is more upland, woodland areas. And I just noticed this on the ground. We've got a little piece of, it's not actually just fur, that's actually skin. So this was an animal that was, has fallen prey to another animal. That happens in nature. It's, an accepted part of nature, but we don't often get to find signs. If you've missed my tracking program, I talk about things to look for when you're out and about. This is one of the things to look for, uneaten food or pieces of fur. And if you missed that program, you can go to our YouTube channel, Meigs Point Nature Center YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that channel. We've got about 160 subscribers right now. I need 1,000 subscribers, and then I can do YouTube live programs. I'm very excited. Hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. All right, there's Westerly, Clinton, hello. See if we have any questions. Love your videos. That's great to hear. Pink smartweed, also called lady's thumb. I did not know it was called lady's thumb. Have you ever gone to Pete Peel's, Ontario for a monarch migration? Everyone should go. I have not been there. That's really cool though. And I think that's a lucky for the bird poop on me. All right, let's keep going here and see what other things we can find. There's a little, looks like a sparrow up ahead and another small bird. There's a monarch flying by. So you can see this is an excellent time to visit Hammonasset. There's bird activity, there's monarchs migrating through, other butterfly activity, lots of insects. I haven't encountered any mosquitoes yet, which is great. We found some other insects. Here's another little funnel web spider there. More of that Japanese rose. Now, many of the invasive species that we have here are from Europe and Asia, and that's because they brought them here, but there are also invasives that go the other direction. And the smartweed is one of those that is now an invasive in Europe, which is from here. Here's an excellent one now. If you see this, this is Virginia creeper. You should not touch it. Some people are highly allergic to it, just like poison ivy. I have never been or had a reaction to it, but that doesn't mean that you should go around touching it. You could lose immunity and then you would be in a lot of trouble. But notice the berries here. It's got 5 leaves growing together, not 3 like poison ivy, but it does turn red at this time of the year. Other times of the year, it's not going to be. Oh, and there's some poison ivy here. Let's show the difference. Down here, we've got the 3 leaves growing together. So that's our poison ivy. All right, and look at the color that it's turned. It's a sort of a maroon green color there. There's more. Lots of spider webs around here right now. All right, so let's keep going. Again, though, the Virginia creeper. Oh, look at this spider. And I just forgot the name of this spider. Right there. It's suspended here. There's a big web covering this whole area. Actually, there's a section of it missing. And this spider, now I had one of these spiders. Again, go to the past videos and look up the spiders. I'll tell you what the name is, because I have done a program on these. I had one outside my office window and it built a web in less than an hour. So I think it was like 15 minutes it built that web. So you want to see those past videos, again, it's on our YouTube channel, or you can go to the website, meigspointnaturecenter.org, to the Virtual Learning Center. And here we've got another monarch on our woodland. It just flew away. Now it's moved on to the goldenrod. All right. meigspointnaturecenter.org's Virtual Learning Center. And if you are a teacher, homeschool group, or parent that's looking for educational information, you can visit our website, the Virtual Learning Center. And along with each of the videos that we have there, there are additional educational materials that you can use in your classroom or at home, wherever you would like. All of our materials are free, accessible on the website and on YouTube. All right, I want to show you over here. This is autumn olive. That's an invasive species. Not something that we really like to see here in the park. But in the springtime, it does have a very fragrant flower, which you can smell over great distances. So we're walking around this small area that used to be just a mowed field. And again, I think it was 2014, I was given the opportunity to set aside parts of the park where we weren't going to mow them and allow them to become a more natural habitat. And this is one of those parts that was agreed upon. I had to, work with the wildlife division and the park supervisors and get everybody on board. But we designated several areas to be allowed to go back to nature, to a natural habitat. Now they are mowing around. If you look at that apple tree, they mow around it, and that's a really good idea because otherwise we might get invasives that climb up and then we might lose the apple tree. Here's a little white butterfly going by, probably in the like cloud butterfly family. All right, and on this side, so this is another section of the field. And this field, we used to hold the Hammonasset Festival in this field. So every other year, this field was mowed. And we may be able to hold that festival maybe next year back here. But this, you're going to see, this is mowed every 2 years. So it's going to look a little bit different than the other side. The other side, there were some cedars growing up there. There were some apple trees growing in the midst of the field. Here, you're probably not going to see that because it's mowed more often. So in a mowing plan, you're going to get different species. And that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see some areas, like across the little road there, I'm going to show you again, where you've got cedar trees and apple trees and more hardwoods growing up there. And then on this side, where we mow more regularly, it's softer stemmed plants. And this main grass that you're seeing, that's a switchgrass. I don't know all the different species of switchgrass. It's kind of like the goldenrods. I get them all mixed up sometimes as far as goldenrods go. But let's keep going here and we'll see what we can find. There is a sparrow that's flitting around ahead of me as I walk down this trail, but I'm not sure if you'll get to see it. I don't know where that went. All right. And this trail is beautiful to walk along because look at what you're walking next to. Our beautiful salt marsh. And at this time of the year, oh, that's a very low-flying plane. At this time of year, there's nothing more beautiful than the color in the salt marsh. And I'm not sure if you can see, I've got quite a glare, so I'm going to try and zoom in. But there's a great egret out there. Much larger than the snowy egret that we saw over in our other, where we started the program with the bird blind. All right. Let's see what else we find here. Now I am noticing something here. I haven't walked this field in a little bit of time. It's been a while, I think. But I'm noticing as there is a distinct sign of sea level rise. Because growing out into the field now is our cordgrass. This is a Spartina. It's now growing out into, also called marsh hay, growing like a tongue of it. Look at that, right into the field where normally it would just be switchgrass and other things. And you can see here that this has been very marshy for some time. So we may need to consider changing the path that we mow here to go around the outside so we're not mowing through what is becoming a salt marsh. And naturally that's going to happen. But again, sea level naturally would rise a little bit, quite a bit slower than it is right now. And the marsh would gradually creep into this field. And gradually the field would become part of the marsh. But that's not really happening here. This is happening pretty suddenly. And I think, yes, in here there's something. Yep, it is a fiddler crab. There is another really distinct sign that this is now more salt marsh than field, because you would not expect to see a fiddler crab running around out here in the field. and I'm going to pick it up so I can show you. Male fiddler crab. It's got the large fiddle-like claw, which is how it got its name. Very cool little creature, but again, not something you expect to find in a field. This is a salt marsh animal, and it really belongs in the salt marsh. The female does not have the large claw. It would have both claws the same size as that small one right there. Oh, this guy doesn't have a small claw. He's missing his small claw. But a female would have 2 small claws. We're going to let him go. I'm going to move around so I don't step on him and continue out down this field. I love this part of the walk. You've got what was more an upland field, but now is becoming a buffer, transitional zone between the salt marsh and the field on this side. And we've got some marsh elder over here, and we've got some ground sorrel. So these plants are also known as high tide bush. The marsh elder is also called high tide bush. Got a driftwood log that is washed up, and that red right there, that's glasswort. Now take a look at this. There's a path. This is not the path of a person. This is a path of an animal. And since our dumpster is, yep, there it is, right over there, I'm going to say that this path is probably our raccoon that I've had to pull out of that dumpster twice this year. I'm going to look and see if I can find a path on this side that I might have missed. Here's a little bit of a path there. So these raccoons, let's see if there's more of a defined path. The raccoons go into that dumpster. We try and scare them away, but it doesn't always work. All right, I'm gonna take a pause here and show you guys the salt marsh while I try and look at these questions. Again, I've got a big reflection going on, so I don't know. That says, does missing a smaller claw make them less attractive to females? Great question. No, the large claw, so they've done research, and it used to be believed that the large claw is what attracted them. They would sit outside their hole and wave their large claw. And recent studies have shown, at least in one species of fiddler crab, that the female is not attracted to the claw at all, that the female is attracted to the hole that the crab dug into the mud. Which means the claw, which the male is waving around, is really doing that to intimidate other males, not to attract a female. He's waving that around saying, you know, this is my territory. There's our sea lavender. If you've ever gotten flowers with the little white flowers in them, baby's breath, this is related to that. And there's another aster. You can see that right there. That's why they're my favorites. Beautiful little flowers. All right, let's keep going here. Again, this is very marshy down here, so I think we need to move this path inward a little bit. There's a little side path. We're going to keep going on the outside, though. So this is not, I think this is wild rice right here. This is not Phragmites. Again, wild rice is a marsh edge plant. The Native Americans used to go along in their canoes. They would bend this over and shake all the rice off in the canoe and continue on and do that. And that's how they harvested the rice from in a canoe. Ooh, here we go. I love it when you find a little mud like this because you can find tracks. And right off the bat, I can see that we've got a raccoon tracks. You can see there, the tracks overlap. The raccoons are waddlers, so their back feet land on their front, where their front feet were sometimes, but not every time. So that's a back track there. This is a front track. They look like little hands. This is the right rear and right front. Looks like the same thing up here as well. So a raccoon, and then there's a person that walked here with type of a water shoe. Typically that kind of tread is from a water shoe. It's beautiful out here. All right, let's see if I can find a place where I can see these questions. I see a few things going by here. I'd like to be able to answer your questions. It is getting pretty warm out here right now. Here we've got some more of that wild rice. It's pretty neat. I need to use this for my ethnobotany program. Maybe I should have done ethnobotany today. Let's see, we've got a question here. Fiddler crabs have moved into my yard. Is there anything I can do? Where'd that question go? Is there anything I can do about it? My dog's trying and has eaten some. Well, and then there's a yuck. I don't think it's yuck for the dog. You know, people eat crabs. I guess crabs are tasty for dogs as well. And I don't know that there's really anything you can do about that. As sea level rises, the crabs are going to be moving further and further inland. And if people are living along the water or along the marsh, that's what's going to happen. So I think it's something that we're going to have to adjust to. I would hate to say, you know, don't let your dogs into the yard where the crabs are, because dogs need to be out and about. But I don't know that there's anything you can do to keep the crabs out of your yard or keep the dogs from eating your yard. Let's see. Challenge the raccoon and relocate the dumpster. That works, but only for a very short time. Raccoons are amazing at finding those dumpsters. Their range is pretty far. They'll walk, you know, we've only got a couple of miles out here at Meigs Point, and they will walk that whole thing almost every night. All right, so in here we've got really tall Phragmites growing up. Again, Phragmites doesn't like the salt, so as the tides come in, the Phragmites is going to move further up. They can tolerate a little bit of salt, but if there's too much salt water encountering their roots, they will not survive. I don't know if you can hear it, but these flowers are covered with bees, and I just hear this faint buzzing everywhere. It's really cool. All right. Someone says, drain your yard, no crabs. I don't know that you can drain your yard. It's the ocean that's causing those tides. All right, let's, ooh, what do we have here? Looks like some more little tiny asters here. Look at how beautiful those flowers are. All right. Let's take a look for a second at this, this big, what is that, an oak tree? All of that brown is from Isaias that passed through over a month ago now. That salt spray browned up a lot of the leaves. The larger trees, or the older, more slow-going trees, weren't able to regrow new leaves. Some of the other plants that are growing up there were able to get some new leaves. Looks like some dogwood there has got new leaves growing on it. But the oak's not so lucky. And that looks like a red oak. All right, let's keep going. Here's a, oh, that's neat. I think this is a post oak. That's cool. Growing out here. I guess it's been a little while since this end of the field has been mowed, because we've got some hardwoods growing there. There's an autumn olive there. Looks like an apple popping up over there. Hickory right there. Another apple, and then like 3 post oaks. So, and some milkweed. Let's take a look and see if we have any. Now, it is late in the year, but we have found caterpillars on our milkweed. And so the first thing I look for when I'm looking for caterpillars is a leaf that's been eaten. You can see this leaf is eaten, but it's old and brown, so it's not eaten recently. You look under the underside of the leaf is where the egg would be. There shouldn't be any eggs now, but also I would think there shouldn't be any caterpillars now either, since the monarchs are on their migration. There's a little raspberry growing in here too. All right, some more milkweed here. This milkweed, I'm not seeing any seed pods. The milkweed, oh, there's one. The milkweed in our butterfly garden has the milkweed beetles all over it, which are bright orange, pretty beetles, and they're all over those seed pods. And this, I believe, is a ragweed. So this is what causes a majority of the allergies this time of the year. This is one of those misconceptions. People blame the goldenrod because they can see the goldenrod in bloom. So if you look down there, see all that bright yellow? That's goldenrod. You look right here, these green, this is actually the flower. Ragweed has green flowers, and it is a much more allergenic, is that the right word? People are more allergic to them. Very strong allergies to ragweed. Here's a beautiful little pink clover. It is late in the year for the pink clover, and there's some Queen Anne's lace that's gone by already. That's late in the year for Queen Anne's lace. But here's some that's still blooming. That's Queen Anne's lace right there. That's neat. And let's see, this looks like a yarrow leaf anyway. Not seeing any flowers from the yarrow. Yarrow's a early to midsummer flower. All right, let's take a look, see if we have any questions. Lots of milkweed here at Old Kelsey Point, and a lot of butterflies. That's great to hear. Okay, I'm not seeing any new questions. If anyone has any questions, you can send them to us on Facebook or through our website, meigspointnaturecenter.org. Please continue to follow us and like us on Facebook. And there's a little, looks like a phoebe landed on top of that flower far ahead of me here. As I walk closer, you'll probably, yep, there it goes down onto the ground. Yeah, it's some kind of flycatcher. I would say it's a phoebe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Meigs Point Nature Center YouTube channel, and visit our website, meigspointnaturecenter.org. Go to the Virtual Learning Center. I can't even tell you, there's over 200 videos and hundreds of pages of materials that go along with the video. So you can watch the video and then, answer the questions, read the fun facts, do a word search or a maze or a puzzle, and check out our vocabulary lists as well. So you can see here clearly the difference between an unmowed field allowed to be a natural habitat and a mowed field. Not a whole lot of potential for feeding here. There's not seeds or flowers, not a lot of seeds or flowers. You can see a dandelion here or there, versus the number of seeds and flowers over on this side. So I would encourage everyone, if possible, to leave sections of your yard unmowed for this kind of habitat, attract wildlife. But I don't mind, if you need to keep a buffer around your home, I would always tell you that you need to have a buffer around your home. Otherwise, you're going to be getting pests and animals trying to get into your home. So keep that nice mowed buffer. I suggest people not put plants right against their homes. It's just a highway for insects to get into. Maybe I should do a whole program on that, on landscaping for wildlife around your yard. But allowing some sections to be unmowed away from your home, it's a great idea to improve the habitat. Actually, there's a friend of Hammonasset who lives right up the road here who has some beautiful landscaping around their home. Maybe we could visit there and talk about how to landscape for wildlife. All right, so I had a blast doing this program. I hope everyone enjoyed it as well. And this evening, the plan is to do a very special program. It's gonna be right about sunset, but I plan on taking a kayak out to see the tree swallow migration. So I would tune in. Sunset, I believe, is about it's 7:15. So around 6:30 or so, if you tune in, I'll be out in a kayak preparing to see the amazing tree swallow migration. I'm very excited for this program. There could be 1 million birds in the sky over my head. I just thought the chance of getting pooped on just got times 1 million there. It might happen, but it's still going to be a fun time. And if you've never experienced it, this is something that you don't want to miss. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Happens right here in Connecticut, and it is a world phenomenon that there can be this many birds gathered together in one place before their migration. So tune in this evening, I would say around 6:30. Hopefully I'll be out in the boat by then, waiting for the tree swallows to start to gather. And until then, this is Ranger Russ signing off from Meigs Point at Hammonasset Beach State Park.